My name is Ntazana Kanchule. I'm here to just help you come to terms with the portal, which is, I think, your point of contact, as you may know, all of you, that for you to access online services for HPCZ or any services. For HPCZ, your first point is the portal. So I will just quickly run you through what is expected of you to get onto the portal. And the idea is to make sure that we are at least conversant with the first point of contact with HPCZ services. So I'll take it for granted that you don't know anything. Better off that way. We pick each other from that perspective. But at this point in time, before I get into the portal, I would like to know if you are hearing me clearly. Are you able to get me? You can just do a form of indication. Okay, great. I've gotten a signal that we are loud and clear. So first things first, we have a number of queries that have been received. Before we get to that, I would like to run you through the portal, which is your portal, practitioner's portal. So I hope the cameras can pick what the screen is trying to display here. So the first thing is this. Make sure you know the URL or the unique resource locator as we know it. So the URL for your portal access is portal.hpcz.org.zm. That's simple. portal.hpcz.org.zm. And this you type in the address bar for the web browser that you're using. We encourage that you use Google Chrome. We expect that this should work in any other browser. But it works best to our notice that if you have Google Chrome, please go to that. And when you get there, it takes you to a landing page called the login. So when you're logging in, you put in your email address and your password. Where it will take you will be here. And the first thing you need to see is your name. This. Now, the assumption at this point is that you are already indexed. When I say you're already indexed, I mean your details are in our system. That's when you can be onboarded for online services. So that's very, very important for you to know. So this man here called the Komani Boyd, on the far right corner there's going to be a name again. All this is to make sure that you are right in your space. So make sure at least you can see your name. And the next thing is you need to see your profession. This man is environmental health officer. Then this is also stressed here. You will notice that we are stressing these fields to make sure that you at least are sure of the place where you are. You are in your home as far as HPCZ is concerned. The next thing is that on the far left side, this is where you are going to have a number of sub-modules here. And these sub-modules, for those of you who have been indexed, but you've not yet gotten your license, or you've not yet applied for your provisional license, you will notice that you don't have as many sub-modules as this man has. So you will not have CPD activities, you will not have renewals, you will not have licenses. Yes, of course, logouts, payments, registration profile, and dashboard are the ones that are going to be appearing. For a simple reason that these services are applicable only to practitioners who are licensed already. So I'm just trying to give you a feel of what you expect. So once you apply for your provisional license and you've been given a provisional license, or you are a practitioner now, this portal gets upgraded from being a student portal to a practitioner portal. When you get upgraded to a practitioner portal, you have all these loaded. Now, after being registered as a practitioner, the next thing is that you have what is called a registration certificate, which is for provisional. It's going to be a provisional registration certificate. The next thing that you're going to have is the annual practicing certificate, or the APC. These two documents are at two different places. So for you to see your registration certificate, you're going to go in this module. This is one of the queries. I'm trying to run you through this because this is one of the queries that some of our practitioners have had a challenge accessing the registration certificate. So you click there. Just be patient with me. Internet is still trying to get us there. Apologies for that delay and slight inconvenience. So I've just tried to change connection. So when you get to this point, when you click on the registration, this is the window that we expect loaded. Then on this window, you have 1, 2, 3 sub menus. And for you to access your registration certificate, you have to go on registrations. Down there, there's a narration called all registrations recorded. So when you click there, let me start with this one. The first one is application. This is to allow you to apply for a registration. Assume you are indexed and now you want to apply for your license. This is where you go. And then this brings out this form, electronic form, where all the instructions have been put. Kindly ensure that all attachments are named without spaces, without punctuation marks, one word, and PDF formats, which are less than 1 megabytes in size. Now, this instruction, I know we're in a hurry usually, and we don't really take this seriously. But these are problems that we'll end up having, like application cannot be application cannot be made. It's as a result of not following that instruction. So when you're applying, you're doing an online application, and you do not put your files in PDF, one. Secondly, it's bigger than expected by the system. Then thirdly, the file name. Usually we've seen file names. We've noticed that when you scan your document, and you don't give it a name, the application you're using for scanning picks a default name. And usually those names are going to maybe a date when you did the scanning. So there's going to be, if you scan it today, it's going to be 13th, then maybe hyphen, 11, another hyphen, 2025. So those special characters, others are underscore. So those special characters, others are going to be maybe dots, are going to be treated by the system as a file system that it cannot recognize. So it gives problems to your application. So please make sure, like we've suggested here, we prefer that you use a one word. For instance, if it's a grade 12 attachment, or for provision, if you're attaching your transcript, you just say transcript. That's all. If it's a PDF format you've scanned your document to, it automatically picks the file system .pdf, and you don't need to worry about the extension at the end. But if they're going to be all those, then it's going to be that. Kindly note that the files have to be, which have several pages, are scanned into one file. So if you have, I'm picking an example of a provisional application. If you have a transcript that has 5 pages, scan all those pages into one file and make sure that it's as smaller as possible. And we've suggested less than a megabyte in terms of size. So kilobytes are preferable. Then HPCZ has its offices. This is the other thing that we've noticed. HPCZ has offices segmented. So we have regionalized ourselves. There is Ndola office. We have our Kasama office. We also have our Livingston office. So when you're doing an application online, you will notice that there's going to be different provinces here. It will ask you to load the province. So these provinces: Central Province, Copperbelt Province, and Northwestern Province. Northern, lastly is, yes, these three. If you choose any of these three provinces, then your application is going to go to Ndola office. So it's going to be processed by our officers in Ndola. So there's other people who's been complaining to say, I've applied, but the officers can't see my application. The reason is maybe you've selected the province that has thrown your application to a regional office that is not sitting within our officers in Lusaka hub. Then Eastern Province and the Lusaka Province, these are going to be processed within Lusaka here. Then if you choose Northwestern Province, or Northwestern Province part of Ndola, if you choose Southern Province and Western Province, those go to our Livingston office. So I thought that's a detail that you may need to have in mind. Then the program, this is going to bring down the program which you are indexed for. So it's automatic. So if you have the diploma and the degree, they'll all be listed here. Which one are you applying for in terms of whichever license you want to pick? Then you tick, if it's provision, you tick your provision here, and then you go all the way. Provision here, because this man I've gotten a profile for is a registered practitioner who is on full-time registration. There is this option that comes. For those of you who are provisionally registered, you will notice that it has a time frame of about 2 years for you to practice. Internship and all those supervise the practice. After that, it's expected that you are supposed to be on the full register. But if it happens that you don't get on the full register and it expires, you do an extension, and that's why you do the extension from. So for newly graduated and those who are seeking licenses, then you go on new, then you proceed. If I select new, for instance, here, down here, it will ask me to load or upload certified transcripts for all academic years. We've had queries where someone says, have I applied a long time ago and I can't get my license? Because maybe you scanned the last part of the transcript, and then registration office requires that all of the transcript is done. Then you will notice something here. This demand requires, the demand for the transcript is a requirement because of this asterisk. The first option is optional. If you have, you can put the diploma. Why? Because it's anticipated that you may have graduated last month and your certificate or diploma may not be ready at that point. But the transcript is a must. You must always upload the transcript. Even this one down here is also an optional by show of this asterisk. Anywhere, not just on HPCZ platform, any online platform you are using, if there's an asterisk there, know that that's something that you have no option to, but need to meet. So then from there, you just sign your signature. Electronic signature here is just ticking here, and then after attaching everything, after you tick here, you submit, and we're good. Once you submit, it takes you to the next page where you enter now an attachment for the proof of payment. And that's all. You'll have done your application. So provisional application is as simple as that. And given that you're not experiencing any challenges, you should be able to do that within 5 minutes at most. It pains us a lot when we see you come all the way from wherever you are to the offices only to come and do this, then you go back and we tell you to say you are done. So we'd like you to do these things at the comfort of your homes. Unless you have unnecessary problems, we are here to help you. Then applications. This one shows all other applications that you may have made, and you are looking for the status. At what point is this application? So this is going to show you the type of application. If it was a provisional application, if it was a full registration, it's going to sit here. The date when you lodge the application and the status. Status will give you in which office is it, at what stage is it, and what action is next for an application to be completed. Basically that. So this gives you historical data of the status or as you track your applications. Then now it takes me to where this man is registered, your application has been processed, and now you want to see your certificate. So this is where all your registration certificates are going to sit. You can access them anytime, and you can access them from anywhere. For instance, this man provisionally registered in 2010, sorry. Then he went on to get onto full registration, and this is his provisional certificate. This is his full registration certificate. So if you want to access this and print it out for display, you just click there, and it downloads as a PDF file here. So once this certificate is downloaded, you can access it from anywhere else. Let me just open it for you. So this is the registration, full registration certificate. If it's provisional, it's going to be provisional registration certificate. For provisional, there's going to be an extra information down here giving you the period within which that certificate is going to be valid. I think this is clear. The next thing that I've noticed, so this is where you get your registration certificate. The next thing is, where do I get my annual practicing certificate? That's another query I think we've had. So from a registration certificate, then you have your licenses here down. This module loads all the licenses that you've ever had from the first time that you got registered. This man first got his license in 2016, and it's here. The most recent certificate is what will be at the top. So I can tell that this man, his last license was in 2024. Same way as the registration certificate, you just go and download here, and then you access your annual practicing certificate for printing. This is the APC. And you'll notice that these are in a calendar year, valid in a calendar year. So at whatever time you get it, it will be valid up to the month end of December. So if you apply today, which is November, your certificate will be valid up to December. Those are the two things I thought I should run you through. The most critical things I have heard a number of people, I think, ask about as far as the portal is concerned. So before getting into any other service, I wanted you to be comfortable navigating your portal. First, when you're registered or when you are not registered. So besides these two important documents, the next other important thing is payments. You can track your payments. A moment the account receipts you and gives you an HPCZ official receipt, you will notice that all your receipts sit on your portal. So this man, when he paid for his annual fees for 2020, the receipt, same thing, you can end up downloading it if you want to download it there. So payments, you have receipts. Licenses, you have all your licenses listed. Registration, you have 3 functions there. New registration, service request, historical applications that are pending processing. Then lastly, where your certificate are going to sit once the process is finished. Basically, that's just about your portal. For all the other services, application for full registration, application for the provisional, application for temporary registration, application for limited registration, everything is all here in registrations. and the process is just the same. Once you select new application, of course, then you select which, all these, provisional, temporary registration, limited registration, full registration down there, then specialist registration, of course, down here. Then depending on the type of service that you want, it loads which documents are going to be expected of you to load. For instance, after selecting full registration, it tells me to say all these will have to be uploaded. And then if I went on to another service, maybe this one, the requirements change. So that's how this portal is. Quickly, let me log out of this portal and get to, this is the landing page that you expect when you type in this URL. Then here, I'm out here for colleagues who, I remember I mentioned to say you cannot have online access if you are not indexed. So now you ask me to say, but now how do we apply for an index online? So when you get to the landing page here, for our colleagues who are students or who are trying to get themselves indexed, when you just type in the same URL, instead of going to log in here, because you are not known as far as we are concerned, you have to go on not registered for online services. Down here, there are hot links, small footnotes there, not registered for online services. A moment you click here, there are actually three. They're not registered for online services. The next one is forget your password or forgot your password. Then the third one is facility registration. For individual practitioners, this is irrelevant. Then before I go on not registered for online services, for those of you who are practitioners and you've forgotten your password, you've never accessed your portal, you were accessing it, but you're not accessing it for one reason or the other, and you want to reset your password, there's no need for you to call us or wait for us to reset your password. This is a private affair, so we do not have access to it as well. Your passwords are encrypted, and when we see the passwords here, they're just scribbled. As a result, this has been made to be self-service. Starting point, get down to forget your password. When you click here on forget password, it loads this one area where you are going to put your email. When you put your email in there, if you put your email in there, it sends a link to, I wish I had someone who has a problem with passwords, so that we try to do this. If there was, we'll try to do that. But ideally, the principle is you put your email in here, then click on reset password. When you do reset password, it sends a link, private link to your email. That email must have been the email that you indexed with. If you put in any email that we don't know here, then it will say this email is not known. So that link, tap on it, it will bring a space where you're supposed to put now a new password. So it's as simple as that. I've seen a number of queries where someone is asking to say, I can't access my portal, please reset my password. That is your privileged activity that you're supposed to carry out, and it's also within a few minutes activity that you can be glad to undertake. So besides that, I want to talk about not registered. The not registered for HPCZ services brings you this small form, and this small form has three fields. The first one is you select if you are still a student, or you are a student, or you are a practitioner. Why? There are people who are students and they are not onboarded. They've been indexed, maybe second year, third year, first year even. Then this is for a practitioner who is already indexed, registered with us, and they want to just get onto the online services. They've never been onboarded on online services. So you select whichever applies to you. Then you put your NRC number there and the email address that you indexed with. I'll still continue emphasizing the email address that you indexed with. Then it sends a link again to your private email address, and you continue with the process. Takes you now to your landing portal. But my interest at this point is to address those of us who would like to do online indexing, and yet they don't have portal. So when you get to here, you'll notice the footnote change here. After clicking not registered for online services, your footnote changes, and there's a new link that says new indexing application. This new indexing application link, once you click on it, it loads this form. So once this is loaded, you will notice that everything is very, very familiar. Just fill in this form. The way you fill in your physical form on paper. Electronically, just put your name, and all that has to be put here. Gender, nationality, home province, passport number or NRC number, mobile number. The email address that you put here is what I consistently keep saying, the email address that you indexed with. This is the one that's going to help you get onboarded on the online services. This is the same email which is going to be used for correspondence, for anything that you may have as far as your application is concerned. So once you put your email address here and everything else, you can save and continue. A link again is going to be sent to your email. The same email that you put here. Then when you tap on the link, it helps you continue now doing the indexing. And that aspect is very, very important, because it will have verified that you are the one who is doing the indexing. So those are just levels of foolproofing, making sure that we're dealing with people who are genuinely our practitioners. Then, after you've been sent a link, that link takes you to where now you're supposed to upload all the documents. The requirements are going to be in that second page of this form. Then after all is said and done, your application is sent to accounts. They verify your proof of payment, and then the moment they verify and receipt you, then your application goes next to the indexing officer. The indexing officer now gives you the index number, and once the index number has been given or a process has been completed, then using the same email address, you are going to be communicated to say, your index number is this. You can proceed now for any other service. If at all you are a graduate and you intend to proceed to your practicing license. If there is a problem one way or the other, there are different reasons which arise as a result of a rejected index. Examples among many may be that maybe it was an underpayment. We know that for a degree indexing, it's 250 kwacha. For a diploma, it's 220. Maybe you pay less. That's a reason for rejecting your index. There are issues like you wrongly or you don't clearly scan your documents. Remember, there are going to be about 5 documents you need to attach. If you don't rightly scan them and the indexing officer can't see, then that's a basis for rejection. The other one is uncertified or uncommissioned. Let me use the word commissioned. Uncommissioned documents. If a document that requires commissioning, for instance, the acceptance letter, is not, that's a basis for rejection. If that happens, then the email address that you gave us, is the one that is going to be used to communicate to you, back to you, to say your index application was rejected, and the reason is going to be given in there. Because this and this and this and this, and then you need to just take that into account in rectifying your application. I wanted to emphasize that because there are certain queries that we receive saying, I applied for my index maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, a year, and I've never gotten feedback. So please check your email for an HPCZ email to tell you whether the index has gone through or it hasn't. The other thing is that the index application takes 30 days. Not that it takes 30 days, but it's processed within 30 days. It can be out a minute after you've applied, or 2 days after you've applied, or a week after you've applied, but the maximum is 30 days. If it goes beyond 30 days, then know that that's an anomaly. And you need to get back to us and ask, why is my index number, or why am I not getting feedback on this application? So please, all that depends on the backlog that our officers may have as far as processing this is concerned. I hope this at least gives us a landing space where we can start interacting with HPCZ. Now, I'd like to get to address specific queries that have been given or sent to us by you. By the way, may I mention that we enjoy and like hearing from you. When we hear from you, then we know that we need to do something here and there.